and welcome to Empowerment Hub podcast. I'm very honored to have an amazing guest with me, a person I met at ICF. At this stage, she was delivering this fabulous speech, and I thought, who is this amazing speaker? I absolutely must have her as a guest, and here she is, Avni Martin. So one thing I learned about her that Avni Martin is an inner child integration therapist together with being an amazing coach, amazing trainer who also has her own school. Avni, so excited to have you here today. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Irina. I'm super excited to be here as well. Thanks for inviting me.
Yes, of course. And first question that I would love to ask you is, how did you get to this, where you are today? How did you choose coaching? Why did you choose coaching? And just a little bit about your journey. I think many people are curious to know more about you.
Thank you, Irina. So I think we'll have to go a little bit into the history, okay? So I think the foundational building blocks of how I got into coaching, I can definitely attest to my childhood. And actually, I had a lot of pain in my childhood. I love my parents, absolutely. I have a brilliant relationship with them, but their circumstances were such that it gave me a childhood of a lot of pain, rejection, shame, and I also witnessed in my life people essentially recycling pain. They have pain, they give pain to the other person. The other person gets pain, they give the pain back to this person. And there was this whole recycling of pain that was happening, right? That I was observing. And of course, as part of this recycling process, I was in the game, right? I was getting it myself. And all of this pain, of course, immediately on the spot, from the beginning of my life really, translated as me having, in the beginning, like almost zero self-worth, self-confidence, self-love, self-expression, okay? I became so far away from knowing who I am and so disconnected with the world around me because whatever I witnessed, to protect myself from it, I think automatically, without doing anything intentionally, I put myself in a cocoon to protect myself, and I almost wasn't there. It's like the body is there, but the person is not there.
Oh.
So that continued for quite some time, and I think it was much later in my life, much later in my life, that the word coaching was introduced to me. I didn't even know what coaching is, didn't even know that it existed. And even, any kind of other modalities, like therapeutic modalities, even they were not really in my awareness. And the whole game of awareness itself wasn't really in my viewpoint. Like, I didn't think about it as that. I didn't think about it as a career, if I can say that, yeah? But at the same time, I would say that I was very interested in it, subconsciously, naturally, because I did Vipassana twice, which is that silent 10 days of meditation in my 20s, and then I did Tony Robbins, landmark education, and all the different various levels of it. So I think I was always interested in understanding ourselves, who we are, what we are, how we think, and being better communicators. But at the same time, I wasn't aware of coaching, so I kind of fell into it in my late 30s.
So did you fall into it? First of all, there's so many interesting things you're sharing right now that I'm just, wow, like so many things we can explore. But I'm curious, when you heard about it, did it feel like this is mine? In your 30s, when was the moment that you thought, this is mine, this is my mission, or whatever you felt? When was that? What triggered it?
Actually, that trigger point happened in my mid 30s. Okay, I was in a completely different industry. Okay, so I had decided to join my father in his company. I had a corporate life first. I was working in a HR consulting company, and then I decided to join my dad's company to learn to be an entrepreneur. He invited me, and I also wanted to be close to him. I wanted us to build a beautiful bond together. So for all those reasons, and to support him and get closer to him, I joined his company. And at the pinnacle of success in that company, Irina, I got an offer from one of our biggest clients. saying that, hey, Avni, we would love to partner with you, and we would love to set up something at a much bigger operation, and we will be one of the most finest companies in UK to deliver this, because because we are your clients and we know how you're serving us, and now we know that if you serve other companies like this, there'll be no competition. So basically we can actually do a lot together. So let me invest with you. So two of these directors had offered me this. And Irina, in that moment, there was this clarity that came through, and so I thanked them, and I remember this moment really clearly. I thanked them and said that, look, I feel that anything that I do put my heart to, yes, I feel that it will be successful. I have gained that confidence, but I'd rather put all my efforts in fixing people's minds or working on people's minds rather than cars, because I was into the cars industry.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So at that moment, that clarity came that yes, I can put all my effort into making this industry successful, but I'd rather make a different industry successful. I'd rather work somewhere else. And suddenly that clarity came through that I'd rather work with human minds than our cars.
Fixing the minds than fixing the cars.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Elevating our minds rather than cars.
Beautiful. Wow, beautiful story. So my question is then, you mentioned so beautifully, and also the metaphor of circulating the pain, giving pain to each other. I believe the world still works on that template that we don't know what to do with this pain and emotions, and we just circulate them around. So how does fixing minds and circulating pain come together to you, in your perception? And this is where I want to lead to parts coaching, something you're teaching too. I don't know if it's already connected there or not, but first let me ask you about that.
So parts coaching we'll discuss later, because that's quite a deep technical side of our coaching world. So we'll come back to that in a minute, because that's a beautiful tool that really helps us understand ourselves better. But at a very deep, holistic and generic level, I would also say that ultimately human beings want to run away from pain and go towards pleasure. Everybody wants to feel good. Nobody wants to feel bad, ultimately, right? And at a very deep level, people really have an innate feeling and a need to want to be loved, accepted, and feel that I'm okay and I'm enough, right? So most people, their basic human innate driver is that, am I okay? Am I enough? Am I loved? Am I accepted? Am I understood for who I am, right? And when we don't get that, then we find all kinds of other ways to try and get that. That, oh, I need to earn this much money. Oh, I need to look this way. Oh, I need to speak this way. Oh, I need to have this career. Oh, I need to have this car. Oh, I need to have this girlfriend. Oh, I need to have this husband, and I need to have this handbag, or whatever it is for people. And ultimately, all of these amazing things that people strive to do, that I need to do this, then that, ultimately comes down to people wanting to feel that I'm okay, I'm enough, I'm loved, I'm accepted, and I'm valued for who I am. That's quite a big basic human driver for a lot of things that we do. And and I think what then circulates pain is that people, we often are not aware of that innate need, and then when that innate need is very often not fulfilled. So because we don't understand that we need it, we don't understand other people need it. If we just understood that basic part, then actually the world will be more happier and peaceful. But because we don't understand it, we don't give that to each other. And we don't give that to each other, and then we want it, and then we try all kinds of ways to get it, right? Unpeaceful ways to get it, or unproductive ways to get it.
Correct.
So I think that is something that I would say that people basically don't have that ability to understand, what do I really want and how do I really get it? Simple as that. And then that circulates pain.
Yeah. What do you think, for those who maybe are already in that state, that understood that that's what I need, but don't know what to do with their emotions? What would be the first go-to thing when there's this load inside and you're just wondering, okay, what do I do with that? Because most of the people don't know, I believe, what they do with their emotions.
Yeah.
What is one thing that you've practiced, or maybe you help others to how to handle those difficult emotions.
Yeah. So when you say difficult emotions, like we have something that we really need and want, and we haven't managed to process it or get it, right? I would just say that stay present to it, work on it, get support, get help, talk to somebody who's trained to talk to you about it. Because in my experience, whatever shows up on the surface is different to what's deep underneath, right? And if we can basically work through what's on the surface, look at what's underneath it, that there is a process to it. There is a journey to it for every single person. And if we can get to that, it's a journey worth taking, because then we know what to do with it. I feel that ultimately everyone has what they need deep inside of themselves. We are whole, we are complete, we are a done deal. Right?
Beautiful way to put it. Beautiful way to put it. And indeed, this is how we are trained, right, as a coach, is to see somebody already as a complete being that has everything inside. Just need to bring this out.
Yeah.
Right?
Just know it. Exactly.
And know it. Yeah.
Exactly. Like so many life experiences take us away from our home. Right? So let's just say that this is my home.
Yeah.
This is me, for example, or this is you.
Yeah.
And we are whole, we are complete, we are just absolutely perfect the way we need to be. Right? But then so many life experiences happen that pull us away from it, that give us an illusion or a delusion that I'm not this. Yeah. And then we try so many things in this life to try and be that, right? Not knowing that we are actually that already. And in all that trying that we do to try and be that, actually it takes us away from where we are already and where we want to be.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? So
I see exactly what you mean. Yeah. When you have everything and you're just looking outside, sometimes you just need to look inside.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think, okay, let me bridge this now with parts coaching, because for me, it was mind-blowing when I saw you on that stage delivering your talk about parts coaching. My first instinct was to run home and try it out. And I know you need to do it with, with somebody who is trained, who knows how to help you to do the technique itself, but the technique is so interesting. And I think what I loved, and I would love to, for you to share with us, but what I love the most about it is how it describes multifaceted elements that we hold in ourselves that most of us are not aware.
Yeah.
So please share some elements of parts coaching with us.
Yeah.
And it's a very big topic, I know, but just on a bigger picture, what can we do with that?
Okay, so just for people who are not familiar with parts coaching, so parts coaching is a modality that is taken from two different areas: internal family systems, IFS, which is really quite a big modality, and also inner child integration therapy, right? So as I became an inner child integration therapist, I learned parts coaching within that. Well, we call it parts work. They don't call it parts coaching, okay? We call it parts work within that. And then I took elements of IFS and inner child integration therapy, ICIT. Okay, I took those elements, and for what's relevant within the world of coaching, ICF coaching, essentially, which is to be in the present moment. You cannot go into the past, right?
Correct.
Cannot get into the therapeutic mode. So what's relevant in the present moment? How do you apply IFS and ICIT in the present moment? So I took that in and created almost like a synthesized version of it. And so the way it works is to say that whilst we are one person, right, it's like we have a whole team of people inside of us. We have a whole board member of people inside of us, right? And at any given point, for any given goal or a thing we have in our life, one particular board member is actually the CEO, taking the chairman's position and ruling the show. And it's not always the best member who is ruling the show. Yeah, it's the loudest one.
Yeah.
Okay? So parts coaching is a way of us understanding different parts of ourselves to understand what's really, who's really driving our car, who's really driving the show.
Yeah. And why I love this is that I think first the awareness that we're not just one certain personality with everybody, that we are different versions in different settings, that at home with our kids we are one, with friends we are a completely different version comes out. You know, different parts of us come out in different setting, and sometimes very limited part, and sometimes very expanded part.
Yeah.
But even the awareness of that we hold so many aspects of ourselves within us,
Yeah.
and to master these aspects, to align and harmonize them,
Yeah.
for me, so mind-blowing. I
Yeah.
love the most
Yeah.
about that fact that you can actually make them aware of each other, these elements of, versions of you, and then harmonize them one way or another. And you demonstrated it on the stage when you gave an example. Yeah, you had a demonstration, beautiful one. So maybe just for the listener to know, what can be achieved as a result of parts coaching?
Absolutely, almost everything that we want to achieve. Like, a lot can be achieved through parts coaching. It's a way of us understanding so many things about ourselves. Now, we can take an example of, okay, basically any habit that we have, if we want to do something but we're not doing it, parts coaching is extremely powerful to understand. One part of you wants to do it, but the other part doesn't want to do it. It's like a car saying, the driver saying, I want to go here, but the car is not moving. Right?
Yeah,
why?
correct.
Because every wheel of the car is going in a different direction.
Correct.
How on earth is a car going to move?
Yeah.
Right? So parts coaching is a way of sitting down and looking at every single wheel and saying, hello, why am I not moving? Dear wheel, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? And which wheel is dominating my driving, my car at the moment? Right? And when we do that, the great thing is that these wheels will talk to each other. Different parts of ourselves will talk to each other. They will harmonize and they will start moving in a same direction.
Yeah.
So for any habit, we can use parts coaching. For any emotional pattern, we can use parts coaching to understand ourselves at a deeper level. And if we find that we have any kind of compulsion, like any kind of way of being, which is not entirely our choice.
Yeah.
Okay, now for some people it could be smoking, it could be being
Yeah.
angry, or it could even be overworking, working too hard, okay, or trying to overachieve or something, right? Like really people work themselves to the ground because of that sometimes. So it could be any kind of a compulsion that we have, or not being able to say no, or even feeling scared when wonderful opportunities come your way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
So any kind of a thing where you know that your conscious mind wouldn't necessarily choose to live this way.
Yeah. So what would be the next step? Would it be to find a compromise? So I have a part A that wants this desperately, and then part B that resists that. So it's not happening. It's like the pull and push.
Yeah.
So would we then harmonize these two and find a solution that these both parts are aligned and they say, okay, let's slowly move that direction? Would it be, I don't know, whatever bad habit it is, or limiting belief, limiting action, or some other things we're working on?
Yeah. So, when we start doing parts coaching, what is so amazing about parts coaching is that when we actually start doing it at a physical level, we will discover hidden parts of ourselves which we never even knew that existed. Yeah.
Yes.
So we truly get into the real unknown of a human mind. Okay. So right now, whatever habit you may have, you'll be aware of at least two parts. Okay, a part of me wants to do it and part of me doesn't want to do it. Okay, we are completely aware of that. And that awareness does not really move the mountain. Okay, doesn't take the car to where it really needs to go.
Correct.
Yeah? So the knowing parts of us, it's not the helpful part. Okay, it's when we start discovering the unknown parts of us, which are in our blind spot, which are hidden behind us, right? And when we start doing parts coaching, the magical thing is that that's what actually then happens. That unknown parts become completely alive. They become vocal. And we find, Irina, that they actually have a full-on personality.
Yeah.
And it's a very dominating personality because they are winning. They're winning the game.
Obviously.
Right? They're winning the game of stopping you from doing what you really want to do.
Correct.
Right? So they're silently completely dominating you, completely unaware.
Correct.
And so when we start discovering that and talking to them, something happens, right? And it's a bit like when we cut ourselves accidentally, like we fall down or whatever, right? Our body knows how to heal itself. Our body knows how to do all the blood clotting and whatnot else. It repairs itself because it knows exactly, our DNA knows exactly where the issue is, right? But often our mind doesn't. It doesn't know what is really happening where. So our mind tries to search around all sorts of places, tries to do all kinds of things. And then with this methodology, we have an opportunity to sincerely get to the very specific thing that is blocking us, that we are not aware of. It's just a way of opening up our subconscious and putting it in the conscious space, essentially.
I love it. Yeah, I'm absolutely mesmerized by our capacity to do this, and also just that these techniques exist, and for people to know that this exists, and we there is a hope for everything and everyone to change whatever you want to shift. And that brings me to rewriting our stories. So my question is, sometimes people are so stuck with, this was my past. Very often can be told from a victim's perspective and felt like that very sincerely.
Yeah.
What do you hold about rewriting our past, rewriting our stories? What's your perspective on that?
So I feel like what helps us is to first of all have a very clear purpose of what is it that we actually want, right? Actually, this relates to the book that I've just recently written with the HAPPY, Happy Coaching System. So I've just written a book called
Congratulations. I saw the happy video on LinkedIn, I'm very happy for you. Huge step. Congrats on that.
Thank you. So at some point I'll get the book out. It's in the bag.
Oh, lovely. Yes, we want to see that, definitely.
So basically the P part of the happy system is purpose. One of the P's, the last piece is purpose, So essentially it's once we know what's our end game, what's our purpose, what is it that we really, really want, okay, then we have to look at our perspectives, right? That is our way of thinking, seeing things, our stories that we tell ourselves, okay, are they congruent with our purpose? Right? Are our stories going to help us get to where we want to get to? And if our stories are not congruent and they don't help us get to where we want to get to, then we have a need and an opportunity to rewrite our stories.
But you see, this is something that so few people would look from that lens. I think most of us just think, hey, this is my story.
And we get stuck in it.
And it's not even occurring to a mind that, hey, I can repurpose or change or adapt it.
Yeah.
And now you're saying, look at your goal and ask yourself, is your story, whatever past it is it serving the way you tell it, the way you experience it?
Exactly.
Which for me is already on its own a revelation.
Yeah.
That, just change.
Yes.
Where are you going?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if there is one thing that people might get out of this conversation, I would love if they could develop this ability to, first of all, everybody can do this. And I would love people to develop the ability to create an observer within themselves, right? A wise observer who's constantly looking at this person, ourselves. And saying that, everything we say to ourselves, about other people, about life itself, how we perceive the world, our belief systems, the whole lot of it, everything under that umbrella, the whole of life. It's just a perspective. It's just one viewing lens.
Yeah.
Right? It's so hard sometimes for people to digest that. They think, how can you say that? This is life and I believe this is how it is. But actually it's just one version of it. Right?
Yeah.
And there are infinite other versions of it that we can choose.
I would like to then demonstrate maybe. So let's say someone had a tough childhood and has been telling a story that I got unlucky, I had that parents, etc., etc. What are other ways that we can tell that story, even though it actually sounds gruesome and on experience level was gruesome? What are other ways that we can open up that story so it feels less victim-like?
Yeah, okay. So that goes to exactly my story, in a sense, right?
Oh, okay,
I had a difficult upbringing, but I see that as I think some of the conversation will be outside this podcast, but I have such a strong and positive relationship to the pain that I experienced. I feel that I experienced it because it helped me develop something that I needed to develop. It has helped me understand how can we, if I did not have that pain, I would have not been motivated to look for peace.
I see.
Right?
Yes.
If I didn't have all the chaos and conflict and pain that I was brought up in, and all the lack of self-worth and whatnot, I would have never sought to rebuild or get to where I feel like I'm there in some sense, and I've got a lot more work to do still. But I would have never taken that journey in the first place. I feel like the pain turns into our power, essentially, as we process things, and then we can do that for other people. So
it almost turns into a mission, right? Like the tough parts of our life can turn into mission if we really want it. The way you turn it into your mission, into the way you are helping people now, is partially, or maybe in a big way, thanks to the story you've experienced.
100%. So I'm doing what I do because of what I experienced, and I wouldn't take that away. Right? I could not take that away. I wouldn't want to take that pain away because it has really helped me understand why does such pain exist in the first place? What makes people create such pain? What is missing in our world that these things happen? Why do people fight? Why do countries fight? Why do people in organizations not get along? Why do team members not get along?
I love it. I love the idea that even looking at why countries fight, I believe is often because they're telling same story, same narrative from one generation to another, why the neighbor or someone has done them wrong. And that just never breaks the cycle.
Yeah.
So how do we break the cycle when we tell that story, that narrative? What would be the first step for somebody who says, I'm ready to break that cycle? What's their first step right now?
To say you are not your story, and you can change your story at any time. We are the directors of our life. We are the writers and authors of our life. We have a choice, and our creative brain has a choice to be able to see the same thing from multiple perspectives. And this whole idea that I'm right, you're wrong, okay, and my version of the truth is the only version of the truth, and that is the biggest fallacy. Right? That's the biggest false belief that we can hold on to, and that is very much a source of almost any conflict, whether you look into a micro relationship, right, within a family or workplace, or between countries. Okay, ultimately conflicts happen because somebody thinks that I'm right, you're wrong.
That reminds me, you have seen that picture when there's two people, literally like you and me, and there's 6 and there's 9. You are saying 9, I'm saying
exactly.
6, and both are equally true.
Exactly. And we can put that into, we have a choice of putting that into practice in every single conversation that we can ever have. Right? And every single relationship we ever have, every time there is a difference of opinion, every time there is any kind of conflicting situation, we can choose to put aside our 6 and say, okay, this looks like a 9 from your angle. Allow me to see the 9 from your angle. How does it look like a 9 from you? Let me see that, okay? And please come towards this way and see how it looks like a 6 from here, okay? And let's understand why it's looking this way from different directions, and see what is really happening here. Right? So we have a choice to really understand another person, and if we really understood another person, we just would not be fighting.
I absolutely agree. And what I feel is that very often why someone does not even want to go on the other side of the table to see what's right is that pain. The stuck pain that is just not moving, and they don't know what to do with it. So I think that leads us to our previous discussion that we need to release some of it to be able to stand in other person's shoes.
Yes.
And see, how do they see their reality? And that would shift everything.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, Avni, my question, in your perspective, what are some parts of ourselves that we silence often or sometimes that if we didn't, would make a big difference, positive difference for ourselves? What part is that?
So I would say that we don't consciously or knowingly silence things. Typically the silencing happens because, like we said earlier, people want to run away from pain. They want to run towards comfort, happiness, pleasure, right? And so any part of ourselves that makes us feel painful, okay, we will end up silencing it. Any part of ourselves that we want to, that makes us feel good, will become louder. Okay, it's not the silence part. And sometimes the part that we've silenced that brings us pain, if we don't silence it, or if we can bring that unconscious part to the consciousness and we look at it, even if it may feel like it's painful, it could open the doors to our next level of growth and evolution, rather than the parts that we are entertaining as the louder voices. Because sometimes we end up entertaining false beliefs and things which are not even true, like outright lies about ourselves. We entertain that because it apparently gives us an illusion that, oh, this is fine, right? So just to relate it back to your previous example, right? For example, if we hold on to this whole idea that I'm right, okay, and we have this innate need to hold on to this idea that I'm right and somebody else is wrong, right? And why are we doing that? Is because even though it may not be true, it may be a lie that we're telling ourselves, but we will hold on to it, because by being wrong, or by allowing or letting go of this idea that I'm right, okay, and allowing ourselves to accept that, okay, there was another way of looking at this. I didn't have the whole perspective, right? By doing that, people have this illusion or delusion that, oh, that's going to bring me more pain because I'm wrong. Because if I'm wrong, then I'm not enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not loved, I'm not accepted, all of those, right? So again, it goes back to those zeros and ones at the basic level. So I hope that's I hope I'm making sense there.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And in your experience, I'm very curious, what do you feel is one of the biggest lies that most of the people tell themselves? Unawarely, unconsciously, or consciously, what's the biggest lie we tell ourselves that just maybe it's time to stop?
I think that's a difficult question, but yes. Very deep question. I think one of the lies we tell ourselves is that I'm not enough, and I'm not, and then to be enough, I have to be someone other than the truth or who I really am. I think that's the biggest lie. I think we entertain that, and there is so much we do because we feel like we're not enough, including the example we shared earlier, which is that we will entertain all kinds of false beliefs. People hold on to all kinds of things which are not even true, just so that they can feel good enough. Ultimately, they just want to feel good enough inside, and so they will hold on to all kinds of things on the surface level.
And that leads me to one observation, that I think it's not easy to really know your truest self sometimes. What is the truest, most true self within me, within amplitude of these parts that I hold? What's the innate biggest true version of me, and how do I feel connected to it, that I just stand in the truth? And that leads me to a question that I know we didn't plan, but I'm so curious to hear, and I think our listeners might also be so curious. You told that you've been few times in a silent retreat, in a meditative state, and you shared with me, and I was like mind blown by the sheer imagination of how that would be to be silenced for 10 days. Was it even in a dark space, or I just share?
How does
that work? And is that where we find our true self?
Beautiful questions. So basically, this Vipassana, right? So the website is dhamma.org, dhamma.org, if our viewers are interested. It's 10 days of silent retreat, silent meditation. No, you're not in darkness. You have full light. You're in a hall with about another 70, 80, 100 people. Everyone's silent. There is no eye contact, no conversations, no smiles, even when you're eating, drinking, going to sleep, etc. It's complete silence, okay, except when you speak to the teacher. And you speak to the teacher in silence too, pretty much. Yeah, you're very quiet, and it's a one-to-one. So I think, yes, Vipassana, I did it 3 times now, and it really helps us connect to our subconscious. Right? Our subconscious is obviously like as big as an ocean. Right? Our ocean on Earth is so big, right? Compared to the surface area.
Yeah.
Okay, the ocean is vast, absolutely infinitely vast, right? Just like the sky.
Yes.
And so our subconscious is like that. And on a daily basis, our brain waves are pretty much like this, pretty fast, or for some people like this. Okay, but nonetheless, our brain waves are pretty fast and pretty choppy, like an ocean.
Yeah.
Right? So when we go for Vipassana and any kind of deep meditational retreats, essentially, they train our brain to become calmer. Right? So our brain wave starts to slow down. Right? And eventually it slows down to it becomes almost like a flat line. And then what happens is that's our conscious thoughts, right? And then what happens is that the ocean clears up, okay? And you can see what's at the bottom of the ocean. You can literally see your subconscious. You can, yeah.
How does that feel to see that vastness?
It's very peaceful, and everyone has a completely different experience of it. But that's when we really truly touch ourselves and see ourselves and feel ourselves and know exactly who we are. For me, that was my experience.
Wow.
Yeah. And it starts to make it very clear. I think once we connect with ourselves at a very deep level, everybody will have a different experience because everyone is different.
Avni, why are we scared to do that? Because I found that many people would be scared to deeply see themselves to that level. Why do you think that is?
Irina, I think our society and our upbringing is programmed in a certain way for us to not really access who we are, number one. Not really access the infinite amount of power we have within ourselves. Actually, we have so much power to connect, to understand, to like we have so much power within our brain that people are not even aware of.
Yeah, I agree.
Right? And there are so many techniques that are currently available to us that can help us connect to this power within us. But in our schools, colleges, universities, in our work lives, in the way the society is structured, we have a certain tunnel, right? And I feel, this is this is going beyond our coaching and all the rest of it, but I think we are brought up with a certain program, just like the movie Matrix.
Oh my God, I highly agree. That's the best metaphor movie.
Yeah.
And it's so true. Do you want the real pill, or do you want to live in that illusory programmed reality?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And so that movie is so real, because as much as people think that they have choices and they think that they are executing the choices, actually we are just living a program that we're brought up in, right?
100%.
And there is so much outside that program, and there are so many techniques that we can explore. Vipassana is one of them. Silva meditation is another one, and there are so many others that we can explore that takes us outside those walls and helps us understand, oh my God, there is a whole new world,
other reality
that exists,
apart from what we are seeing,
that I had no idea about. Exactly.
So Why do you think some people are ready to take? Is it red pill in Matrix? I really wonder. There's two pills, right? There's blue and red. That I know for sure. But there are some who are feeling courageous and adventurous. Okay, I'm going to take the pill of truth, and I find out that hey, how much illusions are we living in? But there are very few, I believe, that take that pill. Why do you think? Is that just fear?
Yeah, I think again the fear is our mind and our body is like a software, really.
Yeah.
So this is our hardware. So I'm the computer,
Yeah.
right? So our body is like a computer, and then we
obviously.
have an operating system, and then we have softwares within that operating system. And our operating systems have got this inbuilt fear put inside of it that anything that's outside mainstream, oh my God, no, be careful, right?
Yeah.
And that mainstream is the right way.
Yeah.
But really, is mainstream the right way? People thought that the world was flat, and that was mainstream knowledge. People never thought that electricity or this computer technology or Wi-Fi or anything that AI could ever exist, that was mainstream before.
Yeah.
Was it really real? No. So there are so many mainstream thoughts right now which are completely unreal and illusionary, but we live in it. People live in it. And if we can just open that door and step outside of it, actually there's nothing to fear. It's such an incredibly beautiful door. And I really feel that we can actually have an extremely productive and peaceful world.
And a loving world and a harmonious
world.
world.
Absolutely. Seriously. We really can. We really can. It's actually available to every single person within their own homes, within their workplaces, in every relationship, between countries, and our entire globe.
Absolutely.
It's possible.
So maybe we use this opportunity to invite our listeners just to try the red pill is not the red.
Absolutely. And you're going to be happy when you do. Like, open the doors.
Open the doors to another reality where I feel everything is connected.
Yes.
And everyone is connected. And when you harm someone, you just harm yourself. Isn't that so?
Correct. Yeah.
So,
yeah. Irina, I knew it, right? That when I come to speak with you, this is going to end up becoming a very
taking a bit different direction.
It's a different direction to our, in some sense, a mainstream profession, but it's also not. I bring in a lot of this intuition, wisdom, and insights from different worlds into my coach training. Actually, I really do, and so in my coaching as well, and all my practices.
So to bring it back, to a bit of, where we started from, someone who is wondering, okay, what are my superpowers, right? And maybe we can start with the most basic, intuition. How do you think someone can access their intuition? Is there a way that you feel that works for me or that you've figured out?
Yeah, someone recently asked me that question on a phone, actually, that Avni, I saw that, whatever you're doing in the coaching session was very intuitive. How did you do that? And how do I develop that? One of my students asked me exactly that question. Like, how do I develop that intuition?
Yeah, right? It is a superpower, definitely.
Yeah, because we did a session where, I could feel something that the other person was feeling, and then I worked through that feeling, And so, okay, so first of all, we all have superpowers. It's nothing unique, by the way. We are actually born with it. Yeah. So the first superpower is to know that we all have superpowers, and we are born with it. We actually innately have it. And as children, we're not trained to use it. Okay, nobody talks about it. Nobody teaches us that at schools. We learn math, science, English, whatever else, languages, but we don't get taught about our human mind and the capacity of it. Then the second thing is to, now you have, as an adult, so many opportunities to tap into it. So like Vipassana is one, Silva meditation is one thing I tried personally.
Meditation,
is another one. So there are courses in Silva that people can do. I did it. I loved it. My husband then did it. He loved it, and then we invited our kids to do it as well. And they completely.
For someone who doesn't know Silva method, maybe we just quickly explain. Because I learned it from Mind Valley.
Okay.
And I don't know if you
learned
came
it
across
from a different company here.
Oh,
who does it in person.
Oh, they do it in person.
Yes.
So the experience is that you're able to see and perceive things after this course that you don't really see it through your eyes. I don't know what was your experience because you did it in person.
Yeah. Yeah,
Was it something similar?
Exactly,
Okay.
absolutely. Yeah, that you can have access to information that you wouldn't normally think that you have access to, and you just have to. The other person has to allow you to tap into it, and you tap into it. And I know this conversation is going very esoteric, but that's fine. But really, you have that information, and I was able to share with my partner who I was working with as an experiment, right? I don't know anything about her life or her family's life, but I was able to tap into a person who she knows, who I don't know, exactly, and say what's happening with his health. And it was absolutely spot on accurate. And she did that for my brother, who she does not know. She, she said things about my brother, about some of his health stuff, which I didn't know. Okay. And so then immediately after this exercise, when I was going home, I called my brother Akash and said, "Hey Akash, blah blah blah, my person who I was working with said all these things about you." And so obviously he said, first of all, don't ever use me as an example for these things. But secondly, here it's true. I have broken, because he's a fourth degree black belt in taekwondo. He said, I have broken my ankle. And yeah,
that's a beautiful example. And here I would like to share with you my belief. And I know that we say it esoteric, we say that it's something out there, but the truth is, I think the reason why we have it as superpower and some of us use it and some of us don't is that I believe our subconsciouses are very intertwined with each other. That at the end, it's one big universal planetary subconscious mind, and we can tell about each other's subconscious minds if we're really tuned into that. That's why some people can say, hey, by the way, I had this dream about somebody, and it's true.
Yeah.
Because our subconsciouses are actually not one separate box here, here's yours and here's mine. They're actually connected.
They are.
So I don't see why it's a big deal to think that it's something esoteric. It's just a natural superpower that was shut off.
Yeah, completely. It is, I feel like it's a fabric of truth that we are already in, and we can't even get out of it. We are there in it. Either you choose to see it or you don't. Either you choose to tap into it or you don't. And if we do choose to tap into it, something absolutely amazing is going to happen for people. They will open doors to their next level of evolution. I think our humanity, I hope, evolves to that.
Yeah.
As fast and as soon as possible.
And I'll just use this another opportunity, and definitely our discussion is going way beyond than what we thought and we wrote, as questions. But even if we look, right, the people, they view AI as something evil. I understand why. But AI pretty much put everybody's knowledge and all the subconscious that was on the internet and all out there together. And it's now as one common knowledge. But if we truly open to our superpowers, it can only help us to get to another level of evolution as humans. This is how I see that. And I'm just so curious, how do you see that? Do you also,
I'm a big fan of AI.
Okay.
I love AI because I feel like I've tested it and I've seen that actually, yes, you are clever. You understand, me. And I know when I communicate and I share that this is what I'm trying to share and this is really where my heart is. It actually knows me. It actually understands me because, I've worked with AI a fair bit now. So I feel like it really understands like my true heart. In a way, it sounds crazy.
I know. It's the same feeling that I had.
Yeah, it does have that ability.
It felt like it knows me better than my husband.
yeah.
So maybe just to conclude on that AI topic is that for coaches and for people who explore it as self-healing modality, where is the line that we can tap into that? Where's the line where you say, I'd love to have a coach, I need a coach to go to that next level? Where is that line for you? In the way you view it.
So in reference to coaching or AI?
If we combine these two, right?
Yeah.
So as a user who has this outlet now to have this infinite conversation about anything, where is the line that we say, okay, this is this, but I would love to have this intuitive coach, or the coach that actually can help me to get on the other level?
So I would say that every human being, like anyone listening to this, please get an amazing coach. Work with an amazing coach. Try out coaching. And how do you get an amazing coach? Of course, that is in itself a journey in itself, right? There are really good coaches, and there are some that don't work for people. But work with a really good coach. I constantly work with coaches all the time, like consistently. Consistently keep opening those doors to our awareness, our consciousness, our presence, learning about ourselves, learning about others, and learning to get to our next step up where we need to be and where we want to be.
To step up, exactly. Yes, that's a lovely message to end up with. And indeed, I believe people find the coaches. You know, there are many of them, but you find the one that is exactly right for you. And I think that's also where intuition comes in. This is the right person for me in this stage of life.
Yeah.
And I also believe that everybody could use one. Yeah. Coaches need coaches to go to that next level they're looking for.
Yeah.
So, dear Avni, with you, I think conversation can be infinite because you're just such an incredible, interesting person with so much experience and depth to you. So for the sake of time, I would like to ask you, what are the key elements that you would like our listener to take away from this conversation with us? Because we spoke about stuck emotions and pain and different parts within us. And then our finding your true self and superpowers where we are ending for. So what are things that are coming up for you right now as we are closing, to share?
Yeah. I'd like to share something that is extremely accessible for people right now, right? Like we want to start there, right? Everyone has an experience of life. And if there is any experience of life where you have any kind of discomfort that comes up for yourself, within other people, within anything that you're trying to achieve in life. So wherever you have any kind of challenges or discomfort or conflict or anything that we experience, because that's the most immediate thing that we all experience. Everyone has that experience.
Yeah.
Right? I'd say look into that and ask yourself that what are some of the stories that you tell yourself about it? Right? How do you see yourself in it? What perceptions are you holding? What is your end game in that? Where do you really want to go in the end of it all? And what is it that you want to shift? What is it that you need to shift within yourself so that you can get to where you really want to be? Right? And the fact that we are not our stories, right? We are the authors and the directors of our stories. Yeah. So you can rewrite any story that you want and work with a coach, a therapist, or any kind of therapist. Yeah, there are gazillion types of therapists out there and so many different types of coaches. Try and work in many which ways and learn to rewrite your stories and
that's beautiful. It's a call to create your own reality.
Exactly.
Right?
Precisely.
Create your own reality.
Exactly. And then let's create a reality that we all love.
We all,
Exactly.
Coming from, closing the chapter of scarcity that it's that little, whatever it is, it's that small, and that it's enough for all of us. Everything we can create is enough for all of us.
Yes.
The abundance mindset.
Absolutely.
I cannot wait to live in that reality where people are just open up their doors or their hearts, whatever it is, to just see that as a possibility.
Yeah.
Avni, thank you so much for your insights, for your energy, for everything you're doing in the coaching community, in the ICF community and beyond. I would like that before we close, we see our lovely Avni's book.
Oh.
And we celebrate with her. Avni, where is the book? I would love to see the book.
Okay.
I saw Avni the other day on LinkedIn celebrating with a bunch of people, and now we're going to just celebrate two of us with that lovely book that she released. Happy Ever After. Oh my God, that's such a good ending to our conversation that we can create happy ever after if we would allow ourselves to. And just maybe share very briefly a bit about this book that I'm so curious to read.
Thank you very much.
Congrats, really.
Thank you. So it's just been released last week actually. It says transform your leaders, teams and organizations with a happy system. So happy system is a proprietary system that I've created which stands for habits, actions, perception, purpose, and why for yourself. So it essentially is a system of coaching. It's a coach training system that I teach in my coach training school. Okay. And essentially we use that to transform our leaders, teams, and organizations.
Wow. And I know you were writing this for 2 years.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And I know how much efforts and energy and knowledge you put into that.
Yeah.
So yeah, may this book bring all the, all the light and all the good that our world needs. Congrats, dear Avni. Thanks again for coming to Empowerment Hub podcast. It was my honor to have you here. And I'm sure that our listeners love you as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Irina. Thank you for the depth and all the amazing questions that you brought. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.